Also tonight, an interesting analysis about artificial intelligence. The Bay Area, as you know, is a breeding ground for much of the AI sector. Many in the industry are predicting mass layoffs in the years to come as AI will take over many human jobs. Now, a Silicon Valley congressman is stepping up with a bold warning. Today, the New York Times publishing this op-ed by Congressman Raj Khanna. He acknowledges that AI will bring tremendous benefits, but he also says that AI develops at lightning speed. As it does, we need to protect our workers, the humans. Here are some of his key points. First, working class people need to have a seat at the table, a say on how AI will change their jobs. He brought up a recent state bill here in California that would have required drivers, humans, to be in the cabin of driverless big rig trucks for the first 5 years. He said no one understands the safety risks better than the drivers themselves. That bill, by the way, was vetoed by Governor Gavin Newsom. Congressman Khanna also writes workers should get a share in company profits and not solely on hours worked. He said it's the only way workers can fully thrive as AI increases America's productive capacity. Joining us now from Palo Alto is Congressman Raj Khanna, fresh off a flight from Washington, D.C. Representative Khanna, nice to have you back on the program. Your op-ed there in the New York Times is a powerful read. I got to ask, are you pro-business here or are you pro-workers? Can you be both?
Raj, first of all, Happy New Year to you and the viewers. I'm pro both. I'm pro technology and the productivity that AI is going to generate for manufacturing, for personalized medicine, for energy efficiency. But I also believe we need to make sure that workers are at the table, that workers are able to have a say in what jobs they're going to have and a share in the profits.
You know all the power players here. You've met with them on Capitol Hill and here in the district. Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, Satya Nadella. Would they agree to any of your suggestions about everyday people having a say and a seat at the table in the development of artificial intelligence?
Well, I think it depends who you're talking about. I think Satya may be open to it, and I actually sent the piece to him and waiting to hear back what he thinks. But one of the suggestions I made is that you should have workers involved in making decisions about how AI is going to be used, whether it can enhance their functions, and if AI is automating and displacing workers, for them to be part of the conversation to find new roles or the company's obligation to help credential them so that you just don't have tens of thousands of people being displaced without workers or employees having a say. And I think that's the balance we're going to have to strike, both for the Valley, where this is going to be an urgent issue in 2024, and for the country.
Is anyone listening to you, your colleagues in Capitol Hill, because you are here in the Silicon Valley, this is your district, do they respect what you're saying and listen to you?
Well, I can't say if they respect what I say. They do ask my opinions and do listen to me. And look, it's not that I have some higher knowledge. It's just that I'm immersed in what AI is going to be. We're going to be hosting a roundtable on February 15th with the top 30 academics in the world on AI, top economists, top philosophers. Fei Lin at Stanford is going to be helping lead it. And I think that kind of thinking is what I can bring to Congress to help inform the Congress so we can make smart decisions.
Yeah, this is going to be a tumultuous few years, perhaps. You brought up something historically, saying back at those Davos conferences back in the 1990s and the 2000s about the future of the Internet. We kind of missed the boat on that. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, look, Raj, Davos and globalization, the touting of it, they were right about certain things. I mean, it lifted millions of people out of poverty in China and India. It created extraordinary wealth, $10 trillion in my district in Silicon Valley of wealth. But lots of people were left out, hollowed out factories, hollowed out small communities. The American dream, harder even for many people in the Bay Area with the cost of rent and the cost of living. And so globalization innovation wasn't some clear path to prosperity for all. And what I was saying with AI is, let's not make the same mistakes as globalization. Let's make sure AI just doesn't benefit the top executives at these tech companies, but benefits everyone.
Final question for you, Congressman Khanna. Should the White House or Congress have some sort of AI czar as we move forward here in the next several years?
Absolutely. I think they should, but I think it needs to be broader than that. I actually believe we need a AI regulatory agency like we have the FDA, both for the purposes of safety, but also for the purposes of making sure there's not bias, there's not a proliferation of misinformation. And the most urgent question, how do we make sure workers and labor are participating in the extraordinary changes that are going to take place? We can't stand in the way of innovation. That is not healthy for productivity, but we do need to make sure we respect the dignity of workers and give them a voice in these changes.
It's going to impact all of us. Congressman Ro Khanna, appreciate your time tonight.